Here I am again, guys. Third time's a charm for this Tuesday. Barry with Barry's 8-track and classic car radio repair. This time we're demonstrating one of my absolute favorite 8-track decks, the Pioneer H-R99. For those looking to buy a stereo deck, this is the one that I recommend. Either the H-R99 or the H-R100. The H-R100 is the same machine except it has Dolby Highs reduction. And that was not an error. I literally call it Dolby Highs reduction because that's pretty much all it does. The first Dolby systems were not very good, especially ones that are built into tape decks. And virtually every tape, in my opinion, whether it was recorded with Dolby or not, sounds better on playback without Dolby. Dolby's main effect is to reduce your high frequency response. With an 8-track tape, you need all the high frequency response you can get. They run at a slow speed. Virtually no 8-track player ever made goes the full human hearing range. That's how limited their response is. So anyway, these Pioneer decks, they're not the brightest sounding deck. In my opinion, the brightest sounding decks are Woolen Sacks and even some of the Sound Design decks. But Woolen Sacks may not be repairable. They're pretty complex. Their boards are really hard to get to. So, you know, to achieve a balance between good sound quality, serviceability, you know, and solid performance, this is the deck that I recommend, the Pioneer HR99 or the HR100. Now let's go over a couple of useless features here, or possibly dangerous features. Okay, this one has record function. You know, they both do. No big deal there. Now ALC, that stands for automatic level control. When you push this button in, it's going to compress your signal a lot. The purpose for automatic level control is to knock down the loud peaks and to boost the quieter peaks, so that the music is more even and is not as likely to overload your meters and stuff like that. But it is musical compression. Now, if you want as close as faithful if you want as faithful reproduction as possible, you don't want to record with automatic level control. You want to leave that off and just be careful with, you know, just monitor the input levels and knock them down when you need to. That's going to result in better sound for the most part. Fast forward, I recommend never, ever, ever using fast forward on an 8-track tape. The reason for that is an 8-track tape is not two reels. It's one reel. Basically, it's called the hub, where the tape is pulled out from the center of that hub and it's replaced on the outer part of the hub. Now, it's pulling out from the center, meaning that there's a whole bunch of tape it's pulling out from. And that's one of the reasons that 8-track tape is impregnated with graphite, so it can slip and slide between layers. And that's what enables it to pull out from the center of a packed hub. Well, fast forward is always going to pack your tape tighter on the hub. Even in your stereo review magazines from the 70s, talking about reel-to-reel players, it says you want to store your tapes in a played condition, not a rewound condition, because rewind and fast forward packs the tape tighter on the hub, whereas play doesn't pack the tape nearly as tightly. So there's a good chance of jamming your 8-track cartridges if you try to use your fast forward function. Even if you're servicing tapes for a living, you know, replacing the foil splices and the pressure pads, it's really convenient to have a fast forward feature and the auto stop feature so you can queue up to the splice without having to worry about it. I don't recommend doing that. That's a good way to jam the tapes, and once you jam a tape, it could be almost impossible to unjam. So I recommend never ever using fast forward, or even pause for that matter. Anything that interrupts the tape's movement is likely to jam an 8-track cartridge, unlike a cassette or reel-to-reel. So I recommend not doing a whole lot except playing tapes, basically, when it comes to the 8-track function. And of course, it's impossible to rewind an 8-track tape, so you'll never find that. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the unit and pop a tape in and make sure it works before we send her back. Got some Neil Sedaka here as usual.
This advice that I give, it means wake up and live. Oh yes, you know, you don't ever, never believe it. I was lonely. And maybe I'll explode if you don't. You're the on the beach.
Okay, I do a song there. Okay, so that takes care of that. it works. It plays tapes, and the original complaint was the tape would play fine for a couple minutes, then it would start humming real bad, and I fixed that. I called the customer to make sure that that was the main problem that he was experiencing too, just to make sure that I fixed it to his spec. Now on the HR100. The meters do light up during playback. They don't light up during playback on the HR99. I've had a few guys say, "Hey man, can you fix it so the meters light up?" I really don't like to mess with the original design, even if something as simple as lighting. Once you get into it, it could become a lot more complicated than we think it is, and I prefer to just fix it as original. Now a car radio, yeah, I do all kinds of, modification and improvements on car radios. I can add a lot more output power, Bluetooth, USB, HD radio, possibly some other things. But on a home unit, they're not really designed to be messed with that much. There's not a whole lot you can do. You cannot convert a home unit to modern electronics, at least not easily. So that's what we got here. So this comes from Dave in Kansas City, Missouri. That's my home state. And I had a nice conversation with Dave about an experience I had in Butler, Missouri, playing bass behind Robert Bacon, the actor Kevin Bacon's cousin. I basically watched his 7-gig career go down the tubes right in front of me, and it was pretty sad to watch. But at any rate, okay, I'm starting to blabber a little bit here, so just wanted to demonstrate that the 8-track is working now. It's not humming anymore. And thanks for watching and listening, and thank you, David, for your business all the way from Kansas City, Missouri, my home state. I'm from the St. Louis area. We'll see you guys next time. And if you need to reach me for service, please visit the website in the description below. Please download and print the work order before calling me with a bunch of questions about prices, options, and turn times, because it's all right there in the work order, and that keeps me on the bench where the work actually gets done. So thanks again, guys. See you next time.